So it is one down, means 4 seconds, heading to the final. There is 76-33 for Shane Monahan and Dalvaro 2. 76 segundos, 33 centésimos para o primeiro conjunto que disputou a prova. Passamos agora para o número 2, uma zona dinamarquesa. Denmark is next. Laura Kirgol, riding Fidelius G. In 88.99 for Laura and Fidelius G. Primeiro representante de Portugal em pista, conjunto número 3 da ordem de entrada. Cavaleiro é Diogo Portela Mendes, monta Di Valentino C. E está 87 segundos, 35 centésimos, o total de tempo para Di Valentino C e o cavaleiro Diogo Portela Mendes. And the next is Italy. Per Italia, in campo Elena Dati, in sella Nibia del Schiavi. 85 seconds, 70 hundredths for Nivia Del Schiavi e Elena Dazzi.
Superb young jockey. Jackson van der Bishop is potentially delivering. No, the first clear round just shies out of the combination. It's very beefy through 10A and B. We're up to 1.45 meters this afternoon. And Ingrid Kjellstrom, I'm afraid, must represent. That is really disappointing. After a superb first half to her performance, it is elimination. Sad to see Ingrid bowing out of the combination, but an important reminder to the rules for this opening competition.
And we go to number 6.
This is under table C rules, so the penalty is converted into seconds. 4 seconds will be added for each fence down, and then at the end of the 83 to start, the quickest round, not the clear round necessarily, but the quickest clear because of the quickest round because of the table C rules, will be awarded a 0-point score to carry into the week. There is a 0.5 coefficient that is multiplied by the respective times, and then there's a differential between the quickest time, that has the 0, and those that come afterwards to give us the points that they carry into the week. And if you're eliminated, like sadly we see for Ingrid Kjellstrom, you are given the worst point score of those that complete the competition, plus 20. That is, I'm afraid, the back foot, the bad back foot that the young Norwegian, after a great start, will start from. Number 6 is on course for Italy, and Italy's Francesco Corredu is with us. This, the Italian stallion, he's 15 years of age, Echo Daniel Castagno, crossed to Avenir. Necofix is at the first of the combinations, 4A, 4B. There are 3 doubles on our course designer, Bernardo Costa Cabral's Young Rider European Championship track this afternoon. And that is a very airy pink vertical. Necofix has made a very sharp start here. Francesco Corredu now eyes up Portuguese Equestrian Federation's vertical. Down now to the next combination. Necofix at 10A and B. Showing us the way, hopefully, to a clear round right here. This last pair of verticals is a sting in the tail. 2 strides comes up beautifully, and Francesco Corredu has delivered the opening clear. Superb effort. 67.94 sets the bar, and finally we get our first clear. We wait 6, and Italy is in pole position.
Germany is next, number 7, Enrique Osterman, riding Air Force One 19.
Enrique Osterman is a raw young talent for Germany. She has just had the 1 start this year. That was in Hagen. Jumps on the German Nations Cup young rider team for a clear and 1 time penalty only. Double clear over the fences. This is Air Force One away. Enrique, her last competition prior to this year's Hagen was again in Hagen. Children's on Horses Champs in 2016, so she hasn't got a lot of mileage. And excited to see how this very exciting jockey gets on. It was a team gold with the Germans in Hagen at home in mid-June. Air Force One, 10 years of age, Arpeggio crossed to Conterno Grande, co-owned by Henrike and Egbert Osterman. And it's a precise, immaculate start as they chase Francesco Corredu, 67.94. The Rainbow Oxer leads them down to the double 10A, 10B. It's a really strong end to the course here with this airy pair of verticals. And that is the late mistake for Air Force One. The time was 4 seconds or so down on Francesco Corredu's time, but it is the 4 seconds to add. 73.28 is Henrike Osterman's final score.
Ireland, number 8 is Judson Foley, riding Clyde VA.
Well, these young rider Europeans have got an extraordinary history. Just looking back through the years, 2011 went to Nicola Philippart's. Martin Fuchs was second. The champs were held here in Comporta in Portugal 10 years ago. Martin, of course, heading to Tokyo with his superb Cluny. The year after in Austria, Martin again struck gold with Principal in Ebersdorf in Austria. Petronella Anderson, one of the Stefak stable team, was second. 2013 saw Frank Schuttert ahead of Martin Fuchs and Chloe Aston. So again, both Frank and Martin at the very head of world affairs these days. 2016 saw Guido Klatter Jr. winning in Mill Street ahead of Lisa Noren and Vladia Revedin. The Netherlands and the Swiss in silver and bronze, and a German victory. 2017 saw Brian Balsinger. We'll come to Brian in a minute because Jason Foley is off to a very good start. This is Clyde VA out on the course. Caratino crossed to Quintero here. Jason Foley gets off to a superb start. Harry Allen comes later for Ireland. Bertram Allen, former champion youth Europeans as well. The system clearly works fairly reliably. Clyde VA coming down to the double combination end of the course, and Jason Foley is still clear, tracking 67.94. He's not a million miles away of the Italian time. He is outside.
69.07.
1 second, 1300ths into second place goes Jason Foley and Clyde. Good round for the Irishman.
79 segundos, 7 centésimos foi o tempo do seu percurso.
Jason second, young rider Europeans. He was 12th individually in the Netherlands with Uncas.
Riding Caribou Horta.
And that a horse that, in fact, Mikael Jung, who heads to Tokyo for the, hopefully, third Olympic gold for Mikael in succession. Horse that Mickey produced up in 2020 before going to Georgia Tame and then on to Jason Foley, only their second start as a pair. Lily Atwood is away. Great Britain's number 9. This is Caribou Horta out on the course, owned by Emma Freeman Atwood. 11 years of age, Landor crossed to for pleasure. So famously bred. Caribou Horta, very sharp turn out of the double. Lily Atwood angles across the pink vertical at 6. And this is a sharp start here. Already world number 127, Lily Atwood is impressive. Her first young riders, though, Team Silver came in the ponies in Kaposvar in Hungary in 2017. And Caribou Horta comes scorching down to the final fence here to put Lily Atwood into the lead. And yes, it is ahead. 68.08. No, narrowly second. I apologise. I thought she had the nod on Francesca Corredi.
8 centésimos para Lily Atwood.
And Lily Atwood just down on the time, and it's literally 1400s only down on Neckarfix. Apologies for that. I think I was flying the Union Jack there for Lily Atwood. And that is second for Caribou Horta. Well, sit back and enjoy one of the great young talents of world show jumping. Doing what he does brilliantly. Harry Allen is the next to start. Harry is aboard Guinness this afternoon. I was lucky to watch Harry Allen winning the brilliant pony gold in Kaposvar 2017. This is his first young rider Europeans. He's had now 5 youth European starts. Individual 5th and team bronze dancing Queen took last time in Zuidewolde. And Guinness is off to a sharp start once again here for Harry Allen. Dutch Nabab de Rev crossed to Catel Gelding, owned by the Ballywater Bloodstock Company. Ballywater Farm, here's in Bertram's base in Germany, near Hunxe, in Germany's heartland. Guinness turns down to the Rainbow Oxer. Harry Allen eyes up the clock. 67.94. He's got 10 seconds on the getaway from the combination. I think it's going to be just outside Francesco Corredu. And, poof, yes, in trouble. Lost a bit of time through those pair of verticals. Harry Allen comes home.
That is a clear
2.4 seconds is the deficit on the Italian time. Living dangerously through that final pair of verticals, but Harry Allen's challenge has started. 73.4 puts him just in behind Jason Foley. Ireland 3 and 4, Lily Atwood second. And still, Francesco Corredu and a necker fixer set the early standard.
Sigue por España binomio Soraya Rouge y el jinete Carlos Lange.
Carlos Lange-Frail is the next to come. Number 11 getting out of the start gate. This is Soraya Rouge, the big grey. Surf Francais, 15-year-old Ultimo van der Muda crossed the first bride, owned by Jawad Chaffai. Number 11 getting away. As I was just saying, Brian Balsinger claimed this young rider European title in Chamorin in Slovakia only 4 years ago. And he goes on the plane to Tokyo. And that is going to be exceptionally exciting, but just shows how quickly the young rider medalists can advance into senior level sports. It was Cedric Wolf who won in Fontainebleau 2018, and the 2019 title in the Netherlands went to Germany's again, Philipp Schulze-Tophoff, ahead of Paloma Barcelo and Lars Kersten, the medal podium. Carlos Lange-Frail, back bar, sadly, that multicoloured rainbow oxer at 9. I love this great expression. He's got a bold, honest head about him. And Soraya Rouge is just going to have that one oxer. That's the only blemish out on the course. Bernardo Costa Cabro for the Spanish band. 4 seconds to add with this Table C conversion. 74.61 is the final time.
Robert Murphy and riding High Cross Violet.
Well, Britain brings a very strong team to Vilamoura this year, no question, and Robert Murphy is underway for the Brits. Robert is aboard this lovely grey. High Cross Violet is Elizabeth Jackson's 10-year-old mare. And it's a positive start. I love the canter, but they just come fractionally close in on takeoff to the combination. First blood to the course designer, striking Robert Murphy, I'm afraid. He's very experienced. He's got an impressive 6 youth Europeans under his saddle. And he won the Children on Horses European title in Arezzo in Italy in 2014 aboard Del Fuego. Has got a great pedigree. He was in Fontainebleau in 2018. He missed Zuiderwolde 2 years ago. And it's just that one early mistake into the double, because Robert Murphy is singing along out on the course. High Cross Violet now turns to the pair of verticals. Careful now because of that early mistake. They were very well placed, 4th in the Nations Cup in Cabourg with the British team. Young Rider Nations Cup, early June. And that is a shame. Just the one mistake coming early doors. 4 seconds to add, 74.22 for Britain's Robert Murphy.
Número 13 em pista. Next for Czech Republic. Sara Vingelkova riding Cassini DC.
Just gathering her nerves and stealing her focus before the start line. Sara Vingelkova is on the course for the Czech Republic. The Czechs were very impressive this morning in the juniors. They're sitting not out of team contention, certainly. Her debut Young Rider Championship, she was in Zuidewolde and Fontainebleau and Chamarin. 3 juniors in succession, 17, 18 and 19. But Cassini DC, her first championship ride with Sara Vingalkova. This pair had a very much confidence-boosting second up in Sweden, Stockholm City's Grand Prix. Late June, just a short time ago to bring them in full cry to Vilamoura. Sara Vingalkova is clear down to this beefy Oxa at 9. Soars out over it. 11 years of age, San Patriano Cassini crossed to Darko. That name just keeps on cropping up. Turning into the pale verticals. And this is a very good start for the rider for the Czech. Sadly, the last fence goes. That was a confident, aggressive first round to her championship campaign. Time was very much in touch, and still with that back bar of the Oxa, 71-72. Sara Vingalkova's done enough for 5th position.
Time for Germany. Germany, we have the representative is Hans Hallmann riding Nerado.
Well, Germany has got a superb record at the Young Riders because Cedric Wolf lifted the title in 2018 in Fontainebleau, and 2 years prior, 5 years ago now, I was there live in Mill Street. It was a great effort from Guido Clatter Jr. to win again the Young Rider European title. And Hanna Zellman gets away. Hannah's riding Nerado this afternoon. Necton across the Accorado, the superb, both sire and dam sire. Necton has a lot of horses out into eventing as well. And Accorado, side the horse that won Alisher Patrony, the Falsterbo Derby back in 2016. This horse owned by Ernst Keller. And Hanna Zellman is off to an immaculate start. Hanna Zellman swings back now to this strong Oxa. Beautiful shot off the corner. His 5th Youth Europeans. He had a team silver, 9th individually, last time in the Netherlands. And that was with Nerado as well. And the same horse came in Fontainebleau in 2018. So they're a seasoned championship pair. And Hanna Zellman jumps the final fence. He's about a second down on the leading time of Neko Fix, and Francesco Corredu has done enough. However, for 3rd position, Nerado, 68.85, will just knock Jason Foley and Harry Allen down into 4th and 5th positions.
Seguimos con España. España tenemos o binomio Datina y Amazona Nerea Garagordobil.
Well, we're already in the thick of the action, and this competition has just got underway. Combination 15 of the 83 to start the Young Rider European first round. But this both counting for individual and the team standings. Unusually, though, the team's not yet declared. They're not known, but the scores will count through into the days that lie ahead and the 5 days that are still in front of us here in Vilamoura. Out on the course, Nerea Garagordobil Marrero for Spain. Datina has made a very clean start here. Datina, she's an 11-year-old Yucato Indoctro mare, Dutch bred, owned by the Herrinks. And she was in Zuidewolde with this horse, 53rd individually in the Netherlands 2 years ago. And also in Fontainebleau the year before for the juniors, so they are, again, experienced enough. Nerea, sadly, that sand-coloured vertical, it's not easy just blends in, camouflage-like into the Vilamoura sand. And I guess that is the point. At the end of the course, horse getting a little bit tired, both physically and mentally. And just the visual strain will probably cause that pair of verticals to come down in a fair frequency this afternoon, or with a fair frequency, I would think. And I'm afraid that is the one down for Nerea Garagordo Bill Marrero, just completing. 4 seconds to add, 79.09 the time. Hungary is on the course. Dora Bogner is our new starter, number 16, away. Esther Balashi owns this. Cali Top is another old boy. He's 18 years of age. He had a great junior horse at 18 this morning, which is right up in contention. Contender of the first, cross to Sandro here. And Dora Bogner has got off to a good start. Her second European. She was again, like many, at Mill Street and Ireland in 2016. That was a good finish, 24th individually and 4th with the Hungarian team as well. But her first young riders missed juniors entirely. The last outing was on the home turf at Babolna in Hungary. That was the World Cup. Had a refusal, had to retire sadly. It wasn't, of course, the ideal preparation. They've put that firmly to bed in their minds and they've come out fighting. This is a great recovery, bearing in mind the problems of the last run. Dora Bogner, the horse had a good look at that vertical. I was worried, but he just assessed the question calmly at the end of the course. And 81.42, it's a steady clear, but it is a clear. Well done to Dora Bogner. Cali Top, 81.42 at the moment. That will put the Hungarian pair into 12th position. So just to remind you, Francesco Corredi was immaculate. It was such a powerful, confident round from Neko Fix to lead the way. 67.94. The lead is marginal. 1400ths over Lily Atwood, Caribou Horta for Britain, and third, Hannah Zalman. Any German with an Alman surname you know will be good. Narado, 68.85.
Correction. The time for Dora Bogner in 85.42.
Out on the course, we are welcome for Russia now. Maria Simakhodskaya is jumping. This is her own Fardon. Out on the course. Dutch 11-year-old gelding. They start at number 17. Just running down to the white, yellow, black double combination. And then out over that big white ox. Fardon looks, hate to say it, but very careful. He's not a huge jumper in terms of scope out over the jumps, but he just knows where his feet are. It's not a bad characteristic for a horse to have. As they've had one down. Just having to reach out over the back bar into the combination 10A was a big stretch for him. But now down the sand colour combination very securely, and it's a good round for Maria Simakhodskaya coming home. Fardon, just that one rail mid-round. And that is the 4 penalties. As we say, converted to seconds. And 78.07
Denmark
is the Russian time.
Theodore Linde and riding Salto de Novas, HDC.
The powerful Salto de Nav is on course. HDC, the Haras de Coudrette suffix of the French stamp, so Francais. Talok M cross to cross to Le Sartiers. Theodore Linde is out on the early part of the course. He makes his Young Rider European Championship debut this afternoon. 38th individually in Zuidewolde 2 years ago for the juniors. He was in Fontainebleau as well at Dutch. 38th position was with Salto as well. But I'm afraid it's a checkered start for the man for Denmark. It's a shame because they won the Grand Prix in Hagen. Mid-June was a good indicator that things were in good order coming to southern Portugal. Salto de Nav, HDC coming down to this devilish pair of verticals at the end of the course. And they explode out over the final oxa, but I'm afraid they suffer. 8 seconds must be added. 77.47. It was a quick round with that time, regardless of the 8. Theodor Linde going into 11th position. We've jumped 18. It's a shame because the time was going to be good enough for about 4th or 5th position. But I'm afraid 8 seconds is quite a handicap. Now this is a very good pair. We stay with the Danes, and Christina Thurup Christensen gets away. Again, we look forward to the 2022 Echo World Championships at Herning. Jumping, dressage, paradressage and vaulting on Kasper Kasser-Kreutz World Championship menu for next year. Vedrik is a very good jumper. And Christina is off to a strong start here. Fourth European Championships in Zuidewolde Aarhus at home. The Ponies, 35th that was with Doon Laddie back in 2016. And Vedrik coming down, yeah, one down sadly. Pair from the Nations Cup in Hagen with the Danish team recently. 6th place it was. He's a very nice horse. He's just got a lovely sort of gliding style. Doesn't take anything out of himself, which is a useful tool to have for such a long endurance kind of a week. But it is the 4 seconds that Christina Thurup Christensen must add. Vedrik 71.72. Put them into 6th position. And yeah, again, a shame because the time was quick enough to take over the leader, Francesco Correia, the Italian, still holding off the challengers.
Austria's number 20 is David Moser riding Chocolat Blanc 2.
Twenty nations coming to Vilamoura for the Young Rider Europeans. There are 16 that have a team qualified. And there are 4 nations, Finland, Romania, Turkey and Austria, that bring lone wolves to the Europeans. And this is the individual for Austria on course. David Moser gets underway. David with Chocolat Blanc. It is his very first European Championships and he has started well. This horse is certainly got the bit very firmly here between his teeth. David Moser guides him out over that big ox. Their recent form has been really good. They were 8th in the Grand Prix at Gorla Minori. Young Rider 145 Grand Prix. He's a very good turn down to that rainbow ox. They were also brilliant. Bronze medal it was in the Nations Cup in Lamprechtshausen on home turf the end of April. David Moser is coming home with an absolutely super round. Well done. 5 seconds or so out of the leader, Francesco Correia, but that, for a debutant, was a really good effort. Chocolat Blanc is going to go into 8th position, 72.91. Well done, and a very well-deserved smile, and we're looking forward to seeing David Moser as the week goes on. The very elegant Tamás Dumza is out on the early part of the course for Hungary. This is his lovely Conquistador, the new starter. This his partner, the juniors in Zuidewolde 2 years ago. They were 42nd in the Netherlands, and it's an encouraging start here. 5 more to come before the first of our session intervals. This pair, super Grand Prix victory to set them very fairly sailing down to Portugal. That win came at home, Budapest, the Grand Prix. 145 was at the end of May. Conquistador is making light work of this course of Bernardo Costa Cabral. They are flying home here. To remind you the time, 67.94 is going to fall. It's going to fall right here and now. That is superb. 0.73 of a second. Sliced off the Italian time. And Tamás Dumza has got Hungary into a superb position. 67.21. Boy, it was such a smooth attacking round. And Hungary leads the way here in southern Portugal.
Russia Federation, it is Anastasia Rgatova riding Clintino, number 22.
Russia brings 5 to the young rider Europeans, and Anastasia Barkatova is on the track. Like Tamás Dumza, who leads the way, also in Zuidewolde. That was with Campari. This afternoon it is the lovely Clintino on course, owned by Oksana Puga. 9 years of age, this stallion only. He's a raw talent, and he's had the early blemish out on the course. The last outing didn't go according to plan, I'm afraid, here at Vilamoura. That was the Grand Prix. They had to retire on the 11th of July, so only 9 days ago. So yes, they've had 3 fences down, but just to come home here would be a real reversal of their fortunes from their prep outing. Clintino down to the green-white double. Pops through there beautifully. They had a win in Moscow mid-December of last year. Had very good form a couple of years ago in Moscow again with a real string of 130-120 victories.
4 seconds, 11
so Clintino survives, as we say. Considering their last outing was disappointing, that's a good round. 16 seconds to add for Anastasia Barkatova, and 94.11 is the Russian time.
Great Britain through number 23, Charles, riding Ornalia.
Well, this lady comes from a superb family. Harry Charles, her brother, Peter Charles, her father, and it was Vindicat that jumped the clear to lift the team gold for Britain at London 2012. Was quite superb. Sienna Charles is on course. This is Ornelia Holsteiner mare. She's a 16-year-old for pleasure, Calato daughter. Sienna Charles makes a pinpoint accurate start. 3 Europeans to her credit so far, 27th individually. Last time, like most, in Zuidewolde. This her first young riders. And Ornelia sets sail right out over that Oxa. Looks in good form for the week ahead. As we stand, Great Britain's Lily Atwood sitting in individual bronze. Of course, a long, long way to go, but this first round typically has to be very influential on the final leaderboard because you can't catch up that much. You've got to be close enough after day 1, otherwise you'll be floundering. And Sienna Charles has jumped a very good round again. Didn't put her foot flat to the board. It is 4 seconds, 1400ths down on Tamás Dumza's time. But Sienna Charles will go into 7th position on Alea's time, 71.35.
Sweden to number 24 and 2 left for our first break is Philip Switzer riding a leader Nike.
"19 years of age, the Swedish debutant, his first European Championships as Philip Switzer is out of the start. Alida Nike is his Swedish-bred mare as well. 11-year-old daughter of Ustenov crossed to N. Aldato. Philip Switzer's made a purposeful start here. He's the second last before the first interval. Rather scrapes into that double, but accurately, deftly with his 4 hooves to avoid any collision. Philip Switzer is keeping up a very strong pace here. Philip Switzer is really going beautifully here. They were 4th in the Team Nations Cup in Hagen mid-June, and still leading is Tamas Domza, Conquistador, 67-2-1. He's got 10 seconds now. He won't be getting ahead of the Hungarian, but it's a very strong performance from Philip Switzer. Super out it is, 72-22. And Philip Switzer will go into 10th position. And I must say that for a first European Championship ride is a great start. And Alida Nike just going into 10th position.
Alida Nike and Philip. Last before our break, our first break is Switzerland is Joanna riding Queen of Hearts.
Well, Martin Fuchs, European champion, won the title in 2012 in Eibersdorf in Austria. He was second in Comporta here in Portugal. And he was also second in 2013's Europeans as well for the young riders. And can Joanna Schildknecht follow in Martin's footsteps? This is the last of the first session. Queen of Hearts is unbalanced, rather thrown off her trajectory there in the air into the combination. But the Heartbeat daughter stands up to the test here under the dazzling sun here in Vilamoura. But I'm afraid flattened successive obstacles, the pink vertical, the Oxa, both, I'm afraid, floundering in the Vilamoura sand after a promising start. Joanna Schildknecht coming down to this combination. Just had to adjust the stride a little bit on the approach. Her third European, she was at 2 Children on Horses Europeans in Mill Street and in Wiener Neustadt, 2016 and 2015. And it is going to be 3 down for Queen of Hearts this afternoon. Their Gambit is a faltering start, I'm afraid, here in Vilamoura. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we come to our first break. We have jumped 25 out of the 83 that will start. And it is Tamas Domza, Hungary, are in the lead with Conquistador, 67-21. Francesco Correia led for much of the first session. He is second with Neko Fix. And Britain is on the individual podium, courtesy of Lily Atwood and Caribou Horta. A short break from myself, Ed Holloway, here in Vilamoura. Goodbye. We'll see you in just a handful of moments. Well, ladies and gentlemen, just while the water bowsers are softening and improving the going for the second session, I just want to give you a little bit more of an insight into the way that the scoring is going to work. It's not totally straightforward, but I'll do my best to put it across, even though I'm a dud mathematician. So what is going to happen is that the quickest time in this table C conversion, where the penalties are converted into seconds, will have the quickest round of this first competition. Then each of the results will be multiplied by a coefficient of half. 0.05 is the coefficient. This will give a point score. There's a bit of an adjustment depending on which side of the median they are, either up or down. The decimal place will be rounded. But then the athlete with the quickest time is given a 0 penalty score, and that is what they will carry, fortunately, or not fortune, but well done to them, into the week ahead. And then there's a differential between them and the rest of the 82 that have started for the Young Rider Europeans, and they will all be given a penalty score to represent the difference in penalties behind the leader. That will give everybody a penalty score to carry into the week, which will then affect both the individual and also the team standings. The team's not yet declared. That is the Chef de Keep's mission this afternoon, to assess which of the 5 riders for the 15 nations that have a quintet, and the Portuguese with the 4, their team will be granted. But then he'll assess the positions relative to each other of his 5, if he's in the lucky position. And the nominations must take place before 5 o'clock tonight. Those will then, the new scores, the amended scores with that coefficient, will form the start point for all of the combinations into the 5 days that lie ahead. And that, of course, will affect both the individual qualification for the final and also the team results. So to get a good start is crucial. If you're behind today, a catch-up is basically impossible. So there's a lot at stake. Yes, it's the opening day, but if you don't get a fast start, you are basically out of the competition in terms of any medal prospect. So a lot at stake, and that is a brief explanation. I hope it's cleared up for you. You can check the FEI database, go to Vilamoura, go to the schedule, and you'll find the hard copy from the FEI there to have a browse over at your leisure. But trust my potted guide, and we'll, of course, into the days ahead, give you the standings with the amended score, as the mathematicians have done their hard work this evening.
68.08. Fourth, Hans Holman in 68.85. In fifth place, Jensen Fully, 69.07. First combination after our first break.
The first session completed, 25 are through. And Tamas Dumza has gone brilliantly. Hungary sitting on top, that is Conquistador. The Contendros Chaco Blue 10-year-old. The gelding sits ahead of the field, 67.21. It is a lead of 0.73 of a second. Clear of Francesco Correda, the long-time leader. That is Nekofix, the Italian gelding. Italian pair through and through, lying in the individual silver as we stand. And Lily Atwood was remarkably good for Great Britain. I'm not surprised, of course, but Caribou Horta held up under the pressure beautifully to lie in the bronze medal position. 68.08 in third. We are back in action, and the 26th of the starters, Portugal, as I say, they have 4 combinations, so no choice for their chef to keep on the home European sand. Francisco Fontes is away for the Portuguese. This is the San Francais 14-year-old Canan crossed to Galabay A, so famous bloodlines. Tutti Quanti Tame is on the course. This the first of the 3 combinations, 4A, 4B, down to this big white Oxa. No treble, interestingly enough, in this Young Rider European opening round, which you would probably expect, but Bernardo Costa Cabra's opted for 3 double combinations. Tutti Quanti Tame, though, I'm afraid, is having a demanding ride, which just gets a good degree tougher. Francisco Fontes comes home. He's done a very good recovery from that refusal at the vertical. That came at 8, and he's had to really grit his teeth and calmly get this surf Francais gelding across the line, and it is going to be a cluster of penalties, I'm afraid, for the home combination. 16 jumping. Faults out on Bernardo Costa Cabral's course, and the total time with that conversion 102.1. Well, this is a very talented young jockey. I've been enjoying watching Ramatu Rodrigo go down on the Côte d'Azur. She competes regularly at upside jumping Grimaud Golf to Saint-Tropez. She's a real talent. And GFE Up To You is out on the early part of the course. 13 years of age. She's been a good 2-star winner down at Grimaud. Sadri Fegier's wonderful series of competitions in their 3rd year of running. This one, Calvaro FC crossed to Olisco, a stallion. Ramatu Rodrigo goes off to a powerful start here. She's a very natural horsewoman, has got great feel. Can just see her stride effortlessly. Coming down to the beefy green, white, orange, black double. One early mistake for GFE Up To You. And Ramatu Rodrigo coming down through the sand double. Just gives him a little slap of encouragement as if to galvanize him. And it's a good round. 75 seconds is hit on the nail. Time, but for that mistake, would have been good enough for 7th position. Just to give you a context. She's a rider to watch, and well done, Ramatu Rodrigo. Just completed the 1st round.
Time for Germany with Max Hurst riding Shakara.
Well, talking of one to watch, this man is very much in the same mould because Max Houtenhorst is out of the start. Team Bronze, last young riders in Zuidewolde with Chikara, his ride this afternoon, 13th individually. Getting underway on this demanding course. They are in great shape. Won the gold, the team for Germany, the Nations Cup at home in Hagen in mid-June, but no, faltering out of the first combination. Back bar goes, but Max Houtenhorst immediately puts his foot to the boards as if to say, I'm going to chase home now, which is the great advantage of this Table C format. Chikara. Oldenburg, 12-year-old mare. She is superbly bred. Chaco Blue, Quidam de Revel. Blue blood. And Chikara. Max coming. Oh, yeah, I was going to say powering down to the combination. It was a little bit on a wing and a prayer. And the brakes go on. Germany are having a very demanding first day. It's been sad to see they're hotly favoured wherever they go. The juniors ran into bother, and I'm afraid the trend is continuing into the young riders this afternoon. They've got Hannah Zalman, though, which is the jink of light for Germany, sitting up in 4th position, and Henrika Ostermann as well was very good, but not quite the form we might expect. Chikara completing. And 88.89 is the time for Max Houtenhorst.
E agora é a vez de Hungria. Alice Stix riding Concordia HB for Hungary, number 29.
Well, the Hungarian flag must be full of promise because that brilliant Tamas Doms around has got Conquistador for Hungary in the lead here at the Vilamoura Young Rider Europeans. Conquistador has got Hungarian hearts buoyant and anticipant of another good finish because Alish Azlatic is away for Hungary. This is Concordia HB out on the course. Cassini the second, crossed to Rolls-Royce. And the mare soars out over the White Ox at 5. I've got to try the owner's name. It's Alashka Epuleta Gespazetti, the owner. Apologies if that wasn't perfect, but it's a long one. Down to the Portuguese Equestrian Federation's vertical at 8. And it goes, sadly. Alacic, after a very good start, is running onto stony ground, I'm afraid. Concordia set sail for home, but it is 12 seconds that the pair for Hungary must add. But of course, Tamás Domza, let's see if he can continue this great start. Conquistador leading the way after the first 29. Concordia is going to have 84.37 with those 12 seconds to add out on Bernardo Costa Cambra's course.
84 seconds, 37 hundredths for Alice Dix. 84 segundos, 37 centésimos para Concórdia. Número 30 pela Bélgica.
And actually, on a serious note here, as a commentator, it is very frustrating, particularly when you're a perfectionist, when we get the pronunciation wrong. We can't, of course, know all the riders. I wrote to the FEI, I said we need an audio database. You have it on the FEI database, and we can just click on the name, pre-commentary. That is the solution. If you guys want perfect pronunciation, which I would expect if I was a competitor, you rally the FEI for me, and we'll try and get somewhere, because at the moment, I'm falling on deaf ears. Emily Conter is out on the course. This is the lovely Balento CS jumping. Emily's got a phenomenal record. Team Gold came in Mill Street, the juniors of 2016. Her debut was brilliant in Arezzo, the Children on Horses Europeans in 2014. 5th individually. Team Silver with Fragile Vanta Paradis. And Balento CS is out on the course. Daniel Deusser, world number 1, rides for the Stefex stables, of course. And he'll have a big hand in Emily Conter's training. This pair were on the Nations Cup team in Cabourg in France. Team Silver, it was for Belgium, in early June of this year. And it's a very solid start for Emily Conter. Crossing the line, clear round. It's a super effort. Just awaiting for the official confirmation, but Emily Conter is right up in the thick of things after the opening round. We'll just give you that confirmed score in a moment. Yes, it's going to be 6th place for Balento CS. The time, 70.25, so 3 seconds down on Tamás Domza's time. Hungary comes again. The Hungarian wave continues. Peter Schuhai is out on the course. This is his own Tanya. It's a German mare. She's 14 years of age, the daughter of Leroy Emil Croster Valdus. Number 31 is off to a very clean start. The Hungarians could be dark horses for this young rider European team title. If this man can just keep on in this similar form, Peter Schuhai charges round the corner. Bold approach it is to wait. He let the handbrake off there. He's got more than enough experience. This is his 6th European Championships, his debut at young rider level. East Wind, his ride in both Zuidewolde and Fontainebleau for the 2 juniors on his card. Tanya comes powerfully down the final line. This has been a really good round again. Hungary is flying high. They're as high as a kite above in the skies overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. And this beautiful Vilamoura Equestrian Centre. 17.93 is the time. Peter Schuhai goes into 8th position. Just to put that in context, we've got Tamas Domza leading for Hungary. Peter Zhuhai in 8th position. Ireland are in a great standing as well. 5th for Jason Foley. 7th for Harry Allen. And Britain also has got 2 in the top 9. Lily Atwood, individual bronze as we stand. Caribou Horta. And Sienna Charles in 9th position with Orna Leia. They are the nations going head-to-head. But as we say, team nominations to come before 5 o'clock tonight. And this man must be one of the Brits coming for the team, because Jack Whittaker is on the course. Michael's son, Scanletha, running down to the first of the 3 combinations. Jack, with this 11-year-old Skendix Contendra mare, has started with perfect precision. I commentated on the Rolex Grand Prix, the Dutch Masters start of this season, and this man looks superb. He's riding way in advance of his tender years, but yes, he's a Whittaker. That was Valmy de Lalande. He had a couple down, but I tell you, he's coming. Scanletha down through the double. Home journey for Jack Whittaker. 67.21 is the time for the young Brit to target. He's going to be outside, but Scanletha just lets a little buck of energy out of her system. Big week for Jack Whittaker, and his campaign starts very well. 69.32 for Jack. Will go into 6th position, so Britain starting now to mount the challenge. Lily Atwood 3rd, Jack Whittaker 6th, and Sienna Charles will drop 1 into 10th place. It's a big afternoon for this lady. Mira Oliver Hoydal is on track for Norway. Her first Young Rider Europeans. She was at 2 Children on Horses Europeans, Mill Street and Wiener Neustadt, 2016-2015. Out of the gates well. Volleyborn Asher is her ride this afternoon. Combination 33. This is the dignified Van to Sorgfleet cross to Air Jordan. Irish Sport Horse mare, owned by Gare and Liv Hoydal. This pair tuned up perfectly at the Grand Prix in Stockholm City. Late June, that was a very good 5th over 150. 5th place in that Grand Prix. Volleyborn Asher though, 1 early rail and a 2nd, I'm afraid, into the combination. It's impressive from Mira Oliver Hoydal because she's produced this mare herself. Started internationally only in May of 2019. So hats off to the Norwegian efforts. And a good enough round just completing. It's going to be 8 to add, 83.71, but respectable start to their week here in Vilamoura.
Jenny Kulstad, Montecurious, Friday.
We've got some very good ones to come over the next 30 minutes, including Rowan van der Men, young gun for the Dutch. Matthias Westendorf for Germany, Jean Sandron, Thibaut Philipparts all to come, and Alexander Hussen in the next 25-30 minutes. So it's a critical point of the Young Rider European first round. Out on the course, Jenny Krogstetter, it is for Norway. We follow up with the successive pair for the Viking Nation. And this is Curious Friday out on the course, a horse I know from the Philipparts fame, former rider of the team Philipparts. Cardento cross to Camaro M, number 34. And there's a beautiful passage through that big double 4A, 4B. Jenny Krogstad has had a very good first 3 quarters to her European Championship debut right here in Vilamoura. As Curious Friday now swings homewards, the sand verticals are well negotiated and over the final fence. That's a very good first leg of the competition. Jenny Krogstad will be delighted. Only started riding this horse actually competitively in mid-February of this year. Had a good win in Opklabik at 145 young rider class in mid of April. But they're fairly raw to this level of competition, and that is a super start. Time for Jenny. Just completed, 72.4 seconds. Well, potentially fasten your seatbelts right about now, because Rowan van der Meen is out of the start. He's a brilliant rider. Q Verdi is up and running. They start at number 35. Rowan has got a dazzling record. This is his 8th Young Rider or Youth European Championships. Individual junior champion in Šamarin in Slovakia, 2017. Silver, the ponies in Aarhus the year before. His 2nd Young Rider Champs, he was with Q Verdi. Team Gold it was in Zuiderwolde. At home in the Netherlands in 2019. Q Verdi has made a deliberate, accurate, not yet lightning quick start, but maybe Rowan van der Meen is opting for a slightly alternative way of trying to win individual gold. As I say, catch up is difficult, but this man has got his game finely honed for the Europeans, surely. 4th Youth Europeans for this combination. Q Verdi, though, falters into the sand double. That's a surprise for Rowan van der Meen. They have had a slightly faltering preparation for Vilamoura. Bonheiden and Sancourt both were not perfect rounds for this pair, so I'm afraid it's a slightly despondent Rowan van der Meen exiting. Sad to see for the young talent. He has the 4 seconds to add, and 73.44 the Q Verdi final time. It's another very serious, seasoned youth campaigner we welcome. 2 ponies in Aarhus and Malmö, 2016-2015, and 2 juniors in the Netherlands and in Šamarin, 2019-2017. Her first Young Rider Championships, the Sarah Brion gets underway. 4 fois de 8Z is on the course, the Canan Pagano daughter. The mare started very nicely, powerful jump up, tucks her front legs right under her chin, out over 7. This pair tuned up perfectly for Vilamoura, 7th in the Grand Prix at home in Cabourg. Early June, 4 fois keeping up a good pace here, turning towards home, still leading. Tamás Dumza, 67.21. The Hungarian time is a lip sally as they come out of the combination, and worse, the fence goes as well. It's a late penalty for 4 fois. Sarah Brion will add the 4 seconds, and the final time, 76.58 for the French pair, starting at number 36.
Republic of Czech Republic, it is Linda Portichova riding Falino, number 37 of the...
Well, as I said earlier, and if you're just joining us and you didn't watch this morning, the Czech juniors have got Czechia in a very strong position. They were brilliant this morning and can that vein of form continue to the young riders as Linda Portachova is away. It is her first European Championships. Foligno makes an okay start. I'm not yet comfortable. I want them to go a little bit more forward. 11 years of age, Witvot, the father of this mare, Foligno, number 37. Well out over the big oxer, though. Let's hope things are flowing more here for the Czech pair. Foligno comes well out over the oxer. They had a very good fourth in Virden. That was the BS Horse Care Prize in late May of this year. They had a very good run in Chameron as well. 7th and 4th at the ex-Bionic Sphere. As Linda Portachova, yeah, just that one down, but now starts to put her legs on the sides of Foligno. You've got to keep attacking. Yes, first young rider Europeans. I well understand the rabbit in the headlights feel. But Linda Portachova, well, I don't, because I haven't ridden at the young riders, but I get the concept. Foligno comes home, and it is that one down, but I'm very happy that my anxieties were misplaced. 76.3 was the time, Linda Portachova, for the Czech Republic, completing with Foligno. That's going to be 76.3, the final time. We'll drop them now with the 4 penalties into 21st position. Still very respectable, having started now 37. It's a very tidy start for the Danish pair. Denmark again in very good standing in the juniors this morning. Right up in the individual medal hunt as Maria Barnevitz-Skau is on the early part of the course. 22nd aboard this Sienna. Zuiderwolde juniors of 2 years ago. 5th with the Danish team in the Netherlands. 14 years of age, Stolzenberg here, the father. And this mare is jumping a super round here. Catching on to the shirt tails, I would imagine, of Tamas Domza, Conquistador leading for Hungary. One late mistake, sadly, for Maria. They won a meter 40 class in Chameron. A second as well in Slovakia, mid-May, so their form coming into the championships was very, very encouraging. One down it is out on Bernardo Costa Cabral's course, and 73.08 is the Danish time.
Sienna 2. Tom Schillikens is from Netherlands, riding Fierabo. Is next to the first competition of young riders European Championship.
Tom Schillikens is a very capable Polish jockey getting out of the start. Team gold it was in the last Young Rider Europeans in Zuiderwolde on home turf 2 years ago with Cassander. This afternoon it is Fierabo out on the course for Tom Schillikens. Dutch 11-year-old Diorado crossed to Padina's mare owned by the Smiths. And Tom Schillikens is purring on the midpoint of the course. This pair in superb form again up in Stockholm City's under-25 Grand Prix, 4th place in the Swedish capital. Nations Cup, clear and one down in Hagen, June of this year. And they had a very good win in Virden, young rider 145 victory, late May of this season as well. Fierabo, though, just flattens into the second of the 3 double combinations, and a late mistake for Tom Schillikens. Sees a big distance down to the final oxer, but I'm afraid it's going to be 4 seconds to add under the table C rules, and 75.8 is the final time for the Dutch starter, number 39. We're just under halfway, ladies and gentlemen, in another marathon session to kick the Vilamoura Young Rider Europeans into action.
For Tom and
just to remind you, Tamas Domza leads for Hungary, Conquistador second, early leader Francesco Corredu. His time fell with Neko Fix. 0.73 of a second, the advantage that the Hungarian enjoys over the field. And third, Lily Atwood. Caribou Horta, impressive for Britain. The Landau S for pleasure. Gelding, our top three, but now back in action, number 40. Ignacio Astolfi Lopez is on course for Spain. This one owned by Ignacio, as well as the de Guzman family. He's a beautiful Dutch 13-year-old Zurich stallion. Chin Chin here is the famed dam sire. Just reaching out a little bit awkwardly of the white oxer, but the gelding's got everything in good order so far. Dylan M turns now back to this yawning Rainbow Oxer out of the corner. A third in the Grand Prix here in Vilamoura. Their perfect prep run. Just 10 days or so ago, they were part of the Spanish team in Chamarin, the juniors of 2017. But young rider debut for the pair. Okay, coming home. 2 rails down, out on this beefy course. But a fair young rider championship debut for the Spanish pair, 75.8. So that was the time for Tom Schellekens. A little bit slower. 77.53 is the time with the 8 seconds added for Ignacio Astolfi Lopez just completing.
And the next is the German rider Matthias Westendorp riding Stalito.
This now is one to really watch for Germany. Combination 41 getting away. Matthias Westendorp. This his third Youth Europeans. He's had 2 juniors, both very, very good. 10th individually. Team Silver coming in Zuidewolde a couple of years ago. As Toledo is off powerfully for Matthias Westendorp. Hanoverian, 15 years of age. Staccato crossed to Toledo, so blue blood out of the Hanoverian stud book. They've had a perfect preparation for the Europeans. They won over 1.45 m in Hagen. They also won the Nations Cup in Wieden with the young German team. Double clear for this pair. In fact, they haven't had a fence down for the last 6 weeks or so. And Toledo jumps beautifully down to the final combination here. 67.21 is going to come under fire here. Matthias Westendorp is our new leader. Finally, Tamas Domza's time falls. 66.87 is into first position. It's a lead of about 1/3 of a second for Matthias Westendorp. I'm so glad he came of age because I knew of his talents and he delivers a perfect round to lead here in Vilamoura.
Le temps à battre, c'est 66 secondes 87 centièmes. En prochaine en piste, c'est Jenny Sadran qui monte Unforgettable Damville.
Well, this is a serious talent now getting underway for France. Jeanne Sadran, I've enjoyed watching her over the last couple of years in the south of France. Her father, the director of the Toulouse Football Club, Olivier Sadran. Her sister Louise, her mother Sophie. They're a superb family. And Jeanne Sadran, she's only 19 years of age, is out on the course. Her 4th Youth European. She was in Zuidewolde with this horse, Unforgettable Damville, 20th place individually. She's got some wonderful horses, the likes of Van An, her 5-star Grand Prix horse. Not her choice this week, interestingly. Unforgettable Danville is off to a great start. Winning team in the Nations Cup at home in Cabourg with the French young riders in early June of this year. And Jean Sadron has made a very good round a reality here. 3 fences to go. She's very unassuming, very genuine, this lady. As we just lose images coming to the final fence. I'm assuming, yes, I think it's a clear round. It is. 70.73 is the time. And Jean Sadron's European campaign starts impressively. Good enough for 10th position. And within 4 seconds of the leading time of Mathis Westendorp, our new leader here at the Young Rider European Championships. Great round. And the best for France as we stand. Please ignore that graphic. On course is Leah de Coulon, the new starter for Switzerland. This is the lovely Goldfinger Z debutante here at the European Championships, Leah de Coulon. And she's another one hoping to follow in the steps of the likes of Brian Balsinger, Young Rider European Champion of 2017. Martin Fuchs, Young Rider European Champion of 2012. And individual silver for Martin in both 2013 and 2011 as well. So Leah de Coulon, this is out on the course. It's a new ride for Leah. Former ride of the Brit turned Canadian Tim Wilkes. Leah de Coulon started with this horse in May of this year only, so they're a raw new combination. But I tell you, going very nicely indeed. Apologies for the time as well. Ignore all the information on your screen, basically. Leah de Coulon turns for home. 9th place was their last outing. The Grand Prix of San Diego in Spain. Mid of July.
73.41 into.
And it's a very nice round just completed. Goldfinger Z stopping the clock, 73.41 for Leah de Coulon. And it is going to put Leah into 20th position. Very happy. Her European Championship debut is very successful. Could this be the moment right here, right now, where the competition is turned on its head? Because Thibaut Philippart's his first Young Riders, but this man, a wealth of experience already. Team Gold coming in the juniors in Fontainebleau 2018, individually 3rd. The Pony Europeans in Malmö 2015, but no, it's a shock. Refusal in that first combination, that was not in the script at all. As Khan van der Kataven and Z grinds to a halt, Canaan Heartbreaker. The horse is only 9 years of age, which perhaps is the explanation for a really surprising Philippart's error. World number 342 already. And this pair winners of that Grand Prix in Cabourg in early June, so this was not anticipated, but that is world sport, and particularly world horse sport when it is at this level. The unexpected will happen. Thibaut Philippart's, though, keeping his foot down because he's well aware that catch-up is possible with the Table C rules, and with 5 days remaining, the Young Rider individual final will be our last broadcast for you on Sunday, 5:30. Sunday afternoon is the time for your calendars. And the last goes as well. So Thibaut Philippart has had a really disappointing start to his European campaign. 8 it is to add, and Khan van der Kataven Z completing.
103 seconds, 45 hundredths for Thibaut.
Final time with the 8 seconds to add 1:03.45 for Thibaut Philippons.
Leon Pierre riding Verona Vienz.
Well, the Swiss, courtesy of Brian Balsinger and Martin Fuchs, over the last 10 years have got an enviable record at the Young Rider Europeans, and Leon Pierre will try and continue that Swiss run of form. Verona VZ is his 10-year-old Verdi across to Kumano. Jos Lanzig's world champion of Aachen 2006, the dam sire. Verona VZ makes a good, if steady start to my eye. Leon Pierre is just coming at a fairly hand canter down over the Oxa. Leon completing at his 4th Youth Europeans, was in Zuidewolde with his other horse Cheyenne, but his debut at young rider level, which I think explains his cautious approach. Of course, you do not want a catastrophe today, score-wise. He has one down into the double, 10A tumbles. You do not want to chance your arm too much, but as I've said at the start of the programme, you can't play too much of a catch-up game either. Such is the scoring system. So Leon Pierre, he is on the back foot, I'm afraid, with a steady round. And it's going to be 8 seconds to add. 83.66 is the Swiss time. It's going to drop him into 34th position.
46 next with Belgium, Alexander Husson and Casillas van der Hel.
Well, this man could be the one to now ignite the mid part of the Young Rider European Championship opening competition, because Alexander Husson is on the early part of the course for Belgium. His record is impressive. Team Gold in the juniors and Fontainebleau 3 years ago. 4th individually, 4th with the Belgian team Pony Europeans in Aarhus 2016. 7th the year before in Malmö. He's got a great record, and Casillas van der Helle is off to a good start. It is combination number 46. We'll have a break in another 4 horses time. And still, Mattis Westendorp, leader from this session. Stolido's gone ahead of Tamas Domza. Casillas van der Helle, Alexander Husson down to the double. Safely through. I don't think we'll be challenging. Or will he be challenging? Yes, he will. I apologise. I was having an afternoon nap because Alexander Husson has gone ahead.
66 seconds.
I'll slightly let myself off the hook because I think the horse got a big ground covering canter, but I must say that was way underneath my radar. And Alexander Husson goes ahead of Mattis Westendorp. 66.11 is a super 0.76 second advantage. 3/4 of a second is the Belgian advantage over Mattis Westendorp. He drops a second. And Tamas Domza, the long-time leader for Hungary, is now on the bronze medal position. The new starter. 4 more to come before the interval. And Leah Fondovik Siversen is out on the early part of the course. This is her first Young Rider Europeans, indeed any Europeans of any type. And Quito Eplesiervanta Tarvesho is on the early part of the course. This pair do not have a lot of mileage at 145. They've had 5 starts at this level prior to the Europeans, and this horse produced by Rachel Steffen, the Belgian jockey, up into September of 2019. This pair have been together since February of last year. That was at the Norwegian Horse Festival in Lillestrøm. One of my loudspeaker outings. That was their first run last year. And Leah Siversen is jumping a very good championship debut here in Vilamoura. Last line, and this one is also quick enough. 72.28. It's a very good debut. That is 17th position for the Eplisir Vanta hike across the Turbo Vanta Gestelhof Gelding. Well done to Leah Fondevik Siversen. She'll be delighted into 17th position.
Hungary again in number 48 is Vince, Jeremy and GB.
Well, Eastern Europe have had a very good showing on this opening day of the European Championships for the youth generations. The Czech were impressive in the juniors, and Hungary having a very good class so far. Tamás Domza lying up in 3rd position. And Hungary will come again. Delighted to welcome Vince Jami. Is the new starter. Vince is underway. This is JB Corona, or I think something like that. I can't quite get the pronunciation. Yeah, JB Koronauer it is, and he's a Hungarian gelding, 10 years of age. Kev crossed to Corleone here for Vince Jami. Vince has got a superb youth record. He was at the Youth Olympics in Buenos Aires. That was in 2018. Team Silver with Waterstown Cruise. This his 2nd Young Rider Europeans. He's got a huge amounts of experience. This is 8th Youth European Championships. It's remarkable. 4th individually with Prima coming in Mill Street 2016. And JB Coronar is clear so far. Turning down over that influential combination 10A and B. Vince Jami trying to have another superb championship performance for this exciting prospect for Hungary. Sadly, the front bar of the Ox are going on the absolute doorstep to the finish line. This is the latest of 4 penalties. 76.11 is the amended time with the 4 seconds to add for Vince Jami. He's a very nice guy, and it's an unlucky late rail. Twenty nations in total at this year's Young Rider European Championships. 15 have got 5 combinations, 15 nations, and Portugal, the home side, with 4. And there are 4 nations with individuals, and this one of the 4 nations, Finland's leader Letonen, has that early mistake. Her first young rider, forgive me, power of speech is failing me. Cedric at her very first European Championships, and great to be debuting at young rider level. Cedric now starting to round to 8 with 8 on the card. This pair's last Grand Prix was in Estonia at Pärnu. Went well, 15th position. Leader Lettinen turning. Homebound Cedric. This very nice Mecklenburg-Vorpommern gelding from the northeast of Germany. Out to the east side of Hamburg on the road to Berlin is Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. It's going to be 8 seconds to add for the young debutants for Finland. Cedric with the 8 is going to finish on 89.22 at the end of this session.
Último conjunto antes da pausa. Temos em pista Jorge Escudeiro e monta Jade Donabella.
Jorge Escudeiro is the last of this session. number 50 of the 83 in total for the Young Rider European Championship. First opening round. Jorge is riding J. Donabella this afternoon. She's an 11-year-old Landor S. Clinton mare. Belgian warm blood owned by Quentin Marlin and Alban Marion. Just getting out of the start. Jorge at his second European Championships. He rode LASP in Fontainebleau's Juniors of 2018. Yeah, slightly wavering on the approach to that double. Just looked a little bit uncertain on the late approach as to the striding. Both parts, I'm afraid. He pays the penalty strongly. Just crucial in those last strides before takeoff. You just allow the horse to settle to his task. You can't be making late adjustments, really. Some get away with it, but it's not the ideal approach. Jorge Escudero, though, now battles on. Down to the Rainbow Oxer. And again, it's not quite ideal on the takeoff. And I'm afraid, yeah, this was going to happen. J. Donabella has said to him, look, unless you are committed in the last few strides, I don't know what you're asking. And I'm afraid the writing was on the wall for the young pair for Portugal. And he's got an out, yeah, get a grip on things quickly. Otherwise, elimination is staring him in the face. And I think I'm going to cut. No, he's not. He's not coming home. Okay, so I'm afraid it's a tough lesson for Jorge Escudero and J. Donabella. And we're sad to see the departure of the rider for Portugal. As we said earlier, the heaviest score at the end of this first competition will be plus 20 points. That will be those that are eliminated or retired score into the days that lie ahead. Tough start though for Jorge Escudero. Well, ladies and gentlemen, great scenes that lie ahead as the 5 days that remain ahead of us, and this final day, this opening day, in towards the final day when the podiums are decided. It's going to be a great unwrapping of the Young Rider Junior and Children on Horses Europeans here in Vilamoura. We take a short break from the action. The last session will resume in 5 minutes. Thank you for watching. And they are all chasing Alexander Hoosen, the new leader for Belgium. Cassis van der Helle has been brilliant. 66.11 to lead by 3/4 of a second. We'll see you very shortly.
So leading this first competition, we have Alexander Husson in a time of 66 seconds 11 hundredths.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are right under the heat of battle here. Opening competition, the Young Rider European Championships of 2021. 31 degrees, the temperature here in Vilamoura. It is toasty. That is an understatement, but I tell you, the competition itself is shaping up equally to be a hot affair. Alexander Husson of the last session has gone scorching into the lead. The heat theme continues. Cassis van der Helle, 66.11, leads the way. Mattis Westendorp, as I anticipated, was immaculate with Stolido. The young German has finally changed German fortunes today. 66.87, and Tamás Domza, quite sensational, the young Hungarian. That is Conquistador, 67.21, just clear of the early leader. Francesco Corredo came a good couple of hours ago, but Neko Fix still sitting in fourth position. And Lily Atwood flies the Union Jack in fifth place. That is Caribou Horta, are 1-5. We get back into the action. Combination 51 of the 83 is away for Romania. This the lone wolf for Romania. Joanna Clark is out of the start. This is Georgetta Clark's RC Lux Vivendi. This afternoon, 11 years of age, Irish sport horse restarts the action. This is the debut Europeans for Joanna Clark. She's had a very good Balkan Championship record. She was 6th individually, team gold with this horse at the Balkans in Istanbul, Turkey, 2019. But I'm afraid a late mistake into the combination. RC Lux Vivendi takes off good distance out of that double combination on the home run. And Joanna Clark will think herself a little bit unfortunate because a super round uncouples at the end of Bernardo Costa Cabro's course. This pair were here in Vilamoura to warm up over the Grand Prix track 9 days ago. Had a couple of rails down on that occasion as well. The time is going to be 85.87. The Morsinkov family have got a very strong youth record. Simon Morsinkov, he won Team Gold with the juniors Fontainebleau 2018 and the juniors in Mill Street in 2016. And Sky Morsinkov is on the early part of the course. This is G. Vingino Blue jumping. It's a lovely, light-footed, dark bay. She's the daughter of Vidal Zarocco Blue, Yev Reeling's Rio Olympic ride, no less. Crossed to Urame. And they run down into a very deep spot at 8. They get away with a not perfect approach. Sky Morsinkov heading down to this beefy green-white double. Pops through there beautifully. Her second Youth European. She was in Wiener Neustadt in Austria. Children's Championships of 2015. And it's a very smooth round. Okay, one rail only, but it's a very nice start for G. Vingino Blue and Sky Morsinkov. They tuned up for the championships at Hagen, the Nations Cup, the Youth Young Rider Nations Cup of mid-June Team Silver it was, with 1 down in each of the rounds in Germany. Final time for Sky Morsinkoff is going to be 72.9 with that 4-second addition. This pair, their second Youth Europeans as a team. They were in Fontainebleau's Juniors of 2018. 5th with the Italian team 3 years ago. We welcome Alessandro Bonifaci. Intrigo RS got off to a sharp start, and I'm not surprised. Their run up to the champs has been very impressive. 2nd at home, the Grand Prix in Gorla Minori, over 145 as a young rider Grand Prix. The 3rd in the, again, Youth Grand Prix in Cabourg, young rider GP of early June. And the other advantage this pair have got is that they know each other like a good old pair of slippers, because they started their career back in March of 2017. So they're good old friends, and you can certainly see that today. Alessandro Bonifaci just trying to anchor Intrigo RS down into this final line. The run for home is not easy, but the young Italians jump home beautifully. That is a very good round. Gets their championship off to a perfect start. Alessandra, 21 years of age, so right on the cusp of exiting young riders. It will be her last championships, and it's got off to a perfect start. The time for the Italians, 78.62. Clear round. That's going to put them into, not the quickest round, but it's a safe start. 36th position. Now we come to Switzerland. Cyril Chaunos is our new starter. This is number 54 to start. This horse, Obama du Soufflet, is out of the start. Ogano sit across to Lanjoul Saint-Hubert. Number 54 is off pretty nicely here in Vilamoura. If you're just joining us, where have you been all day? We are well through the young riders. We've got about another quarter of the young riders to start, and the juniors was an exciting affair this morning. Cyril Chaunos going very nicely here. Obama just steady down to 7. So the Swiss pair, they've got that 4 on the card. They're not trying to play a catch-up game. They're just going to settle for a round without further frustration. Of course, if you put the foot down against the floor, you risk having a further 4 faults or worse. Obama du Soufflet turning for home with Cyril Chaunos. As we said earlier, the Swiss have got a superb record at this very championships. Martin Fuchs, quite extraordinary talent that heads to Tokyo. Martin won the Ibersdorf Young Rider title in 2012. And Brian Balsinger, quite extraordinary that Switzerland have got 2 on their Olympic team that have both been Young Rider European champions. And I haven't gone back in the annals to see when Steve Gardin won the Young Rider title. I'll check that for you and be back with that information a little bit later in the programme. Molly Hughes Bravo is the new starter for the home nation. Number 55, Casanova Van Over Z is her ride this afternoon. This is Angerseda 13-year-old Casper Van Epicom Z crossed at Stala Gelding out on the course. Beautiful black scopy, very loose over his back, this jumper. Yes, I can, in fact, confirm that Steve Gardin, surprisingly, there's not a lot he hasn't won, but he didn't claim the Young Rider European title. His best Young Rider finish was 5th in Gijón in Spain in 2001 with Enzo. just to complete the Swiss picture, or the Swiss Olympic picture, in relation to these Young Rider European Championships. Casanova running, still clear with Molly Hughes. Bravo, down to the final line. There was one down. I'm sorry, I was stuck in Monsieur Gardin's vast record. And a second coming out of the combination. So I'm afraid Casanova Van over Z has two down for Molly Hughes. Bravo. The time for the pair for the home nation, with the 8 seconds to add, 80.21.
56 Tyson and Cartolana 2.
Well, the Benelux nations having a very good young rider showing so far, with Alexandra Hussen for Belgium in pole position, and the Tyson family are riding very high currently. Sanna Tyson, one of the best talents I've ever seen in show jumping, was out of form but then has come back dazzlingly to win the Rotterdam Grand Prix just a couple of weeks ago. Leon Tyson, Sanna Amel's father, had a very good Friday night win in Falsterbo over 1.45 meters, so let's hope the Tyson form continues. Mel Tyson is away. Cartolana the second is her Catapult Lando mare, owned by the Tyson stable. I just love the body position. So upright, not backwards, but just in a perfect central balance here. Mel Tyson, Cartolana turning down towards the green Oxa double combination. Cartolana zips through the middle. Mel Tyson, though, has a late rail, sadly. This is her 5th Youth European. She was in Zuiderwolde at home in the Netherlands in 2019 with this horse, and the same horse again in Fontainebleau. 6th there with the Dutch team. But I'm afraid he's going to have to add
Czech Republic.
A pair of, oh no, just the one mistake, sorry, late.
The third.
The lovely mare Cartolana has the 4 penalties converted to 4 seconds. 70.93 is Mel Tyson's final time. Well, the Czech juniors were so good earlier, hoping to see their form continuing over the 5 days remaining here at the Vilamoura Equestrian Centre. Beautiful Algarve location. Anna Held, though, has had a tough start, I'm afraid. Anna aboard Karamir the third, the contender of the first, crossed the Werther mare, owned by Anna Heldova. Combination number 57, out on Bernardo Costa Cabral's first competition. Team declaration is going to be tonight, the close of this competition for the young riders. They've got to have that in advance of tomorrow's competitions. Karamir the third, though, is having a rough ride out there, I'm afraid, and the last goes as well. Sad to see for Anna Held. She will sadly
74 hundredths for Karamir the third.
Had a real cricket score to her time. Nice to see her giving her mare a pat after the frustrations out on the course. Not easy to so quickly process what's happened to you in a negative sense and just put it quickly behind you. Impressive horsewomanship from Anna Held out on the course with the 32 seconds. She must sadly burden Final time we can give you for Anna Held is 106.74 with those 32 seconds. That really sad addition for the Czech combination. We stay with the Czech, and we hope for vastly improved fortunes for Adam Pisarik, the new starter. Adam is riding Imandra de Lawbury this afternoon. She's a beautiful Belgian mare. Lord Z across to Skippy the second. This is a really nice mare. 13 years of age. She's got technique in bags. Adam Pisarik, though, very cautiously down to 7. But this mare's got the power that he can collect the canters to that extent and still leave that oxer well standing. Adam makes his championship debut this afternoon. Imandra de Lawbury falters front bar, I'm afraid, going of that Rainbow Oxer at 9. It's a new enough ride for Adam. Horse was produced by Damien Halterman in Belgium through 2018, 2019 to 2020. They've only been together since April of this year, and a lovely mare for Adam Pisarik to produce. And a big ask here at the Young Rider Europeans. It is a couple down, lovely combination to enjoy watching this week. I'll flag that one up as a pair with serious potential. 8 seconds to add, 86.17 for the Lord Z mare, Imandra de Lawbury, just completing. Looking very strong early part of the course is this Belgian warm blood. He's 11 years of age. Placer van de Heike across to Pagano. We've had exactly the same breeding earlier today already. I can't recall the horse off the top of my head, but Jackson has got a close relative in the field of either the juniors or the young riders. Faltering into the double, sadly. First blood goes to Bernardo Costa Cabra. Maya de La Joya Fernandez Longoria. Oof, has a really difficult stride into the pink vertical. Another one going. But this horse has got a great attitude, just keeping his ears pricked and keeping on with his task. He's got a saint-like soul. Maya de La Joya Fernandez Longoria. Now just trying to steady the ship. I'm living on the edge of my seat a little bit here, I must say. But so far the Spanish ship still sails. Well, they're going to survive it, and I'm very happy to see, because the young Spaniards, that was a heart-in-mouth round for me, even as the commentator. But well done, they come home. It is going to be, however, 16 seconds to add. 93.42 is the time for Maya de La Joya Fernandez Longoria, just completing. That is Jackson, safely, thankfully home.
Riding Guidam's Willow the second.
This lady is a class act for certain. Alexander Houston leading the way for Belgium. Cassis van der Helle has posted the best time. 66.11 as Marcia Verbekmus is out on the course. Guidam's Willow the second. Willow crossed to Indoctro. Now this is a young lady I've enjoyed watching over the last few seasons. She is talented. Guidam's Willow the second, just tossing his head, the stallion. He knows his job backwards. Out over that big oxer at 7. Out of the NRPS, the in fact Dutch riding pony stud book. This grey. Marcia Verbekmus, no stranger to the European. She's got an incredible record her 6th Youth European. She has had a team silver on 2 occasions. At home, or not at home, but locally to home. Zuidwolde in the Netherlands, team silver, 2019, and in Arezzo in 2014. And Marceva Bekmos crosses the line. Her 2nd Young Rider European Championships, and it is a clear. 71.53. Conservative clear, but the game is set fair for Quidams Willow II to now up the ante as we go through the week. Marceva Bekmos is in 15th position. Alexandra Hussen leading. Belgium in a very good standing. Emily Conter, middle of the pack in terms of the top 15, lying in 9th place. Marceva Bekmos is in 15th position. This is the Russian combination. Out on course, Ksenia Karolina is jumping. Ksenia riding Alexandra Heyrulin's Flipper Boy this afternoon. This, the Gelher's VDL Emilion Cross to VDL Tenerife. It's a very nice bay. Lightweight, white blaze down his Dutch nose. Ksenia Karolina turning down to the Ox. This is an attacking ride here for the pair for Russia. They've really left the start box in a determined fashion. Ksenia Karolina to try and now cement this very good ride. Still leading, Alexandra Hussen, 66.11. Ksenia Karolina, though, is going to put Russia into a good position. They see a super stride down to the last fence. They were in Zuidwolde. That was their debut Young Rider Europeans of 2019. That is a super start to that week, to their week. Forgive me, here in Vilamoura. They tuned up perfectly. They were here last week, so they've really done their fact-finding carefully. They were 5th in the Grand Prix, over 145, and the Russian pair are bang in business. The time, 73.76. And Ksenia Karolina is going to go into 27th position. Okay, it is 7 seconds down on the time, but remember that coefficient will reduce the deficit, and it could be a close run affair. Now, this lady is one to firmly watch because Jodie Hall-McAteer is out on the course for Great Britain. This is Mandy Hall's Kimosa Van Het Kritzahoff this afternoon. 11 years of age, Chatman Eros Platier, the Belgian mare, is off to a super start. Lily Atwood, 5th for Britain as we stand. Jodie Hall-McAteer is living life here on the edge. You'd expect nothing less. This is a bold, gutsy start for the young Brits. Jodie running down to the double combination. This is quick. The time to beat, 66.11. And this is very much here. Game on for Jodie Hall-McAteer. This time is attainable. It's going to be absolutely destroyed by Jodie Hall-McAteer. Has gone ahead here in Vilamoura. That was ice cold. She took her chances. We saw that into that pink vertical. She just kept flowing. And that has knocked absolute holes in Alexandra Hussen's time. 63.98, leading by a good 2 seconds. Kimosa Van Het Kritzahoff is out in front for Great Britain's Jodie Hall-McAteer. 63.98 is the new time to beat. Well done. Great to watch. Well, Germany will now look to respond to Jodie Hall-McAteer's absolute exhibition of jumping at high speeds with deft precision. Sönke Fallenberg is our new starter. This is Shakira TFNRW away. The last young rider title went to Cedric Wolf for the Germans. That was in 2018 in Fontainebleau. Shakira TFNRW. Right on the buckle. He hacks down to the Oxer at 5. This his debut. First young rider Europeans for Sonke Fallenberg. He turns. Powerful start here. Shakira away from the Oxer at 7. Rides a very quick 360-degree turn back on himself to that Portuguese Equestrian Federation Oxer. Just a little stumble approaching that rainbow Oxer, but still, Sonke Fallenberger is in good enough standing. 63.98 is that blistering new time from Jody Hall-McAteer. He's way away from that, but it's a very good round. Okay, a late mistake is going to pay, I'm afraid, the price for the young German. It is 4 seconds to add, and 72.92 is Sonke Fallenberg's time. We'll drop him down. That is in 24th position. Great effort, but I'm afraid the leaderboard remains unchanged. This is a very exciting grey out on the course for Jack Ryan now for Ireland. BBS McGregor, 9 years of age. Powerful, compact, explosive body. Jack Ryan trying to rival Jody Hall-McAteer's new time, Camosa 63.98. It's a very good start. This man has got a wealth of experience. This is 8th Youth European Championships, his debut Young Riders. Team bronze in both Zuidewolde and Fontainebleau, 2019-2018. And BBS McGregor is showing this course of Bernardo Costa Cabral, a clean pair of Irish heels. Is a beautiful Irish sport horse, 9 years of age only. Cardento crossed to Mark Twain. Shame, faltering late into the sand verticals. That home combination, it hasn't actually caused as much problem as I predicted at the outset of the programme, but I'm afraid it does take the Irish scalp of Jack Ryan. Late mistake, and BBS McGregor completing here, first competition here at the Young Rider Europeans. It is going to be a final time of 73.63 with that one lone late mistake in an otherwise super performance. Just a little faintest of rattles into the double combination. 4A stays obligingly in the cups to the French pair. Léona Mermier-Baron is out on the course. This is Chanel de la Clay jumping. This pair also debutants at Youth Championships, so big occasion. Chanel de la Clay turns quite wide back to 8. Sensibly, however. If you turn too tight, you're only going to risk penalty. Chanel de la Clay, Holsteiner, 11-year-old Cosido Caratino mare, owned by Valérie Guillot for Léona Mermier-Baron. This pair coming down to the final fence, one down out on the course, but they've been in very good form running up to the championship, so we're hoping for a big week for the French pair. They won the Nations Cup in Oplebeek in Belgium. That was in mid-April. They then also claimed the home Nations Cup in Cabourg. That was in early June. So their form has been very encouraging. And it is just that one mistake for Leona Marmiot Baron completing.
Riding Flasho.
4 seconds to add, 74.26 the time. So we remind you, Jodie Horn-McAteer has just scorched into pole position. It was outstanding. Kamosa Van Het Kritterhoff has Britain in the gold medal position individually. Well clear, 2 seconds plus ahead of Alexander Husson. Long-time leader for Belgium, drops to second, Casillas van der Help. And Mattis Westendorp was a very immaculate round, very much immaculate round for the young German. Stolido is in the individual bronze. Now we come to Natalie Sukapova, this the rider for the Czech Republic, and Flachau. It's a beautiful resort not far from where I live in Austria. Have the Women's World Cup there under the floodlights, not far from Schladming. It's a beautiful part of Steiermark. Natalie Sukapova, away from the skiing, has started very strongly here in Vilamoura. He's 11 years of age, again, side by Zarocco Blue Video. Yeah, Vrieling's Olympic ride from Rio de Janeiro. Damsar here is in Doctro. Flachau's got the energy and the gall to flare his back legs prior to entering the combination at 10A and B. Showing his disdain for the course at even this demanding level, but he pays the price sadly into the combination. First blood out on the course, 11A. Natalie Sukapova completing. Flachau has a late mistake. It's going to be the 4 penalties only for the pair for Russia. 81.11 is their time.
Norway next through Sophie Road and Cassido L.
Number 67, everybody of the 83 to come. This young rider, Europeans on day one, is already just bubbling up under the surface beautifully for the days that lie ahead. And they are all chasing Jodie Horn-McAteer, as Sophie Rudd is the next out of the start gate. This, the young Norwegian, number 67. Cassido L, he's very nicely bred. He's a comeback the second. Lucky Light Stallion, owned by the Liquigord 159 company. And another one causing more and more influence is that combination. That ox has been fairly hard to dismantle, but I'm afraid successive rails go for Cassido. Sophie Rudd, 2 youth Europeans prior to coming to Vilamoura. Aarhus in Denmark, up at the lovely national base in Denmark. That was in 2016. And also Malmö, the beautiful Ribbersberg location, where Zlatan Ibrahimovic has got a very nice home. That was in 2015, but I'm afraid couple down it is for Cassido up and further difficulties. So Sophie Rudd coming home, and her young rider, opening day, is fairly demanding. 3 fences falling, and it is going to be 12 seconds for Cassido L. They must add, and it's, I'm afraid, a fairly hefty 91.8 is the time. As we say, there's a 0.5 coefficient, will be times to these times. They're all adding up, including those penalties converted to seconds. And then the leader, at the moment, Jodie Horn-McAteer, will have a lovely fat 0, and the others will have their differential away from her once we've done that conversion into points and penalties for the 5 days remaining. Now, this is a very good rider. I've enjoyed watching Antoine Herman over the last couple of seasons down in Saint-Tropez. Antoine gets away. This is Azur de Vinibus, the new starter. 11 years of age, Robin de Vinibus crossed the Flipperdale, famous dam sire, Haras Nationaux stallion, out of the French blue-blooded breeding owned by Jean-Yves Herman. It is number 68. this pair jump very well. Their first Europeans was in Zuidewolde. The juniors, 14th individually. 2 years ago was a dazzling debut for Antoine Herman at the European stage. Azur de Venibus purring around this course so far. He won't be challenging the very top of our leaderboard, but it's a solid start for this pair, sadly. A late sting in the tail. Oh, it's a very disappointing final line for Antoine Herman. Entering the combination, and then that final oxer is the 8 seconds, I'm afraid, for Azur de Venibus to add. The pair were in great form coming into Vilamoura. They were team gold in Cabourg at Home Nations Cup in early June, but I'm afraid their round at the very death of it is uncoupled. Time for the Frenchman with those 8 seconds is 78.37. And as we say, we would love as commentators an audio database. I mean, I'm from England and I struggle to know if it's Kaylee Sodden or Kaylee Soden. I just don't know. Just echoes the need for a precise system where riders and owners can record their names and their horses' names as well. So I apologise to Kaylee. Kaylee Soden it is on course. We'll go with that. Kaylee riding her first Young Rider Europeans. This is the very nice Ard Lederman out on the course. See, my pronunciation's gone right up the creek now because it must be Ard Lederman. Castle Hill King was her pony ride Malmo Europeans of 2015, 28th place individually. Again on the Ribbersberg Seaside Park. Ard Lederman has started very well here for Kaylee. They had a team silver in the Hagen Nations Cup for Ireland. Double clear they jumped. That was in mid-June of this year. So again, bang in form coming to the championships. That's the first mistake. Kaylee Sodden flattens the entrance part of the combination. And the, I'm afraid, doubles causing problems for Ard Lederman coming home. 8 seconds it is for Kaylee Sodden to add. And that is a total of 86.82, the final time for the pair for Ireland, just completing number 69.
Riding Classic Touch DH, 70 of the starting list, with a time to beat of 63.98 from Judy McTeer.
Now this man is a very elegant, very effective jockey. And Belgium already having a very good run at this opening competition with Alexander Houston sitting up in second position. Thibaut Spitz already under 21, yes, but world number 167 is impressive already. Thibaut's record is immaculate. Team gold in Fontebleau's Juniors of 2018, individual bronze the year after in Zuidewolde in the Netherlands. That was aboard Bellissimo, but this afternoon it is Classic Touch DH away for Thibaut Spitz. This pair have been rather searching for coming into the Europeans. They had good enough run in Aggerhound's Grand Prix, but one down it was up in Denmark for this pair. That was their last Grand Prix start. But that, admittedly, was up over 150, 160, which again casts a slightly different impression on their performance coming into these championships. And it's a good round. Belgium are in a very good position because Classic Touch DH, the Casal mare, has gone into third position. Well done to Thibaut Spitz.
Sweden is
The result that we anticipated was potentially there. Alexander Husson just holds off Thiebaud's challenge. He stays second. Classic Touch DH is on our podium. Well done, Belgium. Second and now third as well. Our latest starter is off to an immaculate start. Her debut, young rider European. First timer Cora Hearn is out on the course. She rode in the Capochvar Pony Europeans in 2017. Miss Corn Harvey. It's a lovely little dun I saw in Capochvar 4 years ago. And Chaganou, okay. One recent rail for Cora Hearn. This pair in great form of late. They jumped the Nations Cup in Chamarin. That was mid-May. That was their last competitive outing prior to coming to Vilamoura. Clear round, one down out in Slovakia. And Chaganou coming down to the final fence here in Portugal. Good start for Cora Hearn as she crosses the line. Just that one rail down. Combination number 71 of the 83 to get underway. This horse bred by the Gestut Levitz. Paul Schockermoller's wonderful base up in the northeast of Germany. One down it is for Cora Hearn. Back end of Bernardo Costa Cabral's course. The new starter, combination number 72. And as we say, 4 nations out of the 20 represented here at the Young Rider Europeans have just one representative apiece, and this is one of them. Turkey's Alessia Arrigo Zazadze is out of the start. He's made a very good start as well. This horse is only 8 years of age, just slipping up out of that double, back bar of the Ox. Foray is the first mistake. Dawson, as I say, young gun, 8 years of age, Diamond de Semi, crossed a Dollar de la Pierre, very well bred. As Alessia charges down to that Ox, a fearless approach it wasn't it? Pays off well. This young Turk has got the bit firmly between her teeth there. Alessia Arrigo Zazadze down now to this late combination. It's been a really gutsy attacking performance, I must say. This has been good to watch. And Alessia Arrigo Zazadze coming to the final fence, and that is a seriously good start for the pair for Turkey. Just the one down out on the course, and the time is 74.9 seconds. It's going to be about 11 seconds adrift of Jodie Hall-McAteer's time. But 35th position after 72 have now started exactly halfway on our leaderboard is a very respectable start here in Vilamoura. We have 2 more to come back end of it. Sorry, 3 more to come at the back end of this opening competition for Sweden. And Janelle Larsson, a young rider I've got to know well up in the Scandinavian. She's a regular for the Gothenburg Horse Show on an annual basis. Kingston getting away, owned by Magdalena Larsson. He's beautifully bred. He's a young 9-year-old Canan Baludurue gelding. And Janelle Larsson has made a very convincing start. Leading time still. Jodie Hall-McAteer, 63.98, but Janelle Larson is having a very good run at the time here. Sadly, that one rail down is going to put the kosh on the Swedish challenge for now. 5th Europeans for Janelle Larson, Zuiderwolde, Fontainebleau, Kaposchvar and Millstreet, but her debut at Young Riders, and I tell you, she's got off this course. Okay, another rail down out of the combination, but aside from those 2 blemishes, it was an attacking performance and one she can be very proud of. Kingston will add the 8 seconds. The pair bring good form to the championships. They were part of the 4th place for the Swedish team in Hagen's Nations Cup in mid-June. 8 seconds to add for Janelle Larson, and Kingston's final time here, opening competition, 86.6. I'm sad to say that will drop them right out of the picture into 73rd position. Just shows the fine margins that this Table C opening format of competition brings, because it was a very good round to watch and attacking, just unlucky on the day. Well, 2 more to come in this, what has been electric start to the Young Rider European Champs here in Vilamoura, as Veronika Shekotarova is out on the course for Russia. Avelino de Cresta, this is beautifully bred. Diamondosemi Casal Gelding, owned by Alexandra Onoshenko, no less. And Veronika Shekotarova is off to a powerful start here. She's made light work of the first half of the course, her 3rd Youth Europeans Juniors in Fontainebleau. That was cool pleasure. 4th place for the Russian team 3 years ago. As Avelina de Cresta just arches his back. Big out over that Oxa at 7, which is right up to 145 height and square. As Avelina de Cresta now, sharp turn. Has to put the brake on a little bit, but accurate. Into that rainbow Oxa at 9. I was running through the hand down to the double. Veronika did a good job of keeping the dark gelding off that front rail into the combination. She's ridden a good round. Has had to really work for her clear, but it is a clear, 76.87. Veronika Shekotarova, her Young Rider debut is a successful one. Time, because of the little breaks in the rhythm necessary to turn and clear the front bars of the combinations, just costs them a little bit. They are in 42nd position with 1 more to come in this penultimate session. Back to start for Russia at the back end of this penultimate session. Egor Shibrik is out of the start. This is Cornet Spirit on track. 11 years of age. Superbly bred. Cornet Oblensky across to Conair here. Egor Shibrik is the world number 525. His 2nd Young Rider Europeans. He was in Zuiderwolde 2 years ago. That was with Chiara, however. 30th place individually. Juniors in Fontainebleau and juniors in Chamorin. So this is 4th Europeans in succession. Cornet Spirit has got off to a good start here. Angles out over 8. This pair have had World Cup form as well. They were in the World Cups in Babolna in Hungary, Kunkiai in Lithuania, and also in In fact, those were the two World Cup runs. And there goes Shipwreck, has jumped a good round. Okay, one rail goes, I'm afraid. Out on Bernardo Costa Cabral's opening competition at the Young Rider European Champs for 2021. He will have the 4 seconds to add. 75.63 is the total for the combination for Russia. Short break, everybody. We'll be back in just 5 minutes with the last session. Can anybody beat Jodie Hall-McAteer's blistering round? Britain in charge, 63.98, the time to beat.
Muito bom dia a todos. O meu nome é António Moura, sou o show director do Campeonato da Europa de Vilamoura 2021, que vamos dar início no dia 18 e que se prolongará até ao dia 25 de julho. Vilamoura, para este campeonato, aqui em Vilamoura, eu reunia uma equipa extraordinária que é o garante de que tudo se vai passar da melhor forma possível, em que todos nos iremos esforçar para o conforto, o vosso conforto e dos vossos cavalos. Já que estamos a falar de conforto, começo-vos a falar que as previsões de temperatura são entre 25 e 28 graus, portanto, fiquem descansados, não há nenhuma onda de calor aqui por Vilamoura, há sim o bem-estar de todos e onde todos vamos poder, com certeza, nos divertir imenso a ver este campeonato, onde com certeza aqui irão nascer novas estrelas deste desporto que nós tanto gostamos, o salto de obstáculos. Nós já organizámos em 2004 aqui em Vilamoura também um campeonato da Europa e em 2011 também em Portugal, na Comporta. Portanto, nós somos um garante de uma experiência ao longo dos anos, além de todos os concursos de 5 estrelas e de CSIOs que temos realizado ao longo de toda esta nossa vida equestre. Aqui nascem as estrelas. Nós aqui em 2004 tivemos Roberto Whittaker, Ben Mayer, Juliano Melchior, Edu Aznar e Sérgio Alves Moya, para dizer só alguns nomes, os outros que me perdoem, mas a lista é imensa. Na Comporta também tivemos os irmãos Philip Hart, o Martin Fuchs, a Lisa Nuren e o Jos Verlooy. São realmente, isto vem-nos dar a ideia de que, com certeza que aqui dentro destes 280 cavaleiros que vão aqui estar presentes em Vilamoura, destas 30 nações, vamos ter novas estrelas do nosso desporto. E isso sim, a renovação é um imperativo da vida e, portanto, congratulamos-nos muito de poder participar nessa ajuda e nessa de fazer nascer estas novas estrelas. Vilamoura é o sítio ideal para a prática do hipismo na Europa. É o melhor sítio, não tenho a menor dúvida. Portanto, no inverno como verão, nós temos um clima muito ameno que permite sempre podermos praticar esta nossa modalidade que tanto gostamos e amamos ao longo de todos os anos. Por isso nós termos aqui em Vilamoura várias turnês de inverno, verão e outono. Não me resta muito mais para vos dizer, apenas que é com queremos desejar a maior sorte a todos, que ganhem o melhor e que nós estaremos aqui para vos apoiar e vos dar, incentivar para que corra tudo pelo melhor. Não quero deixar de me despedir sem agradecer aos nossos sponsors, pois sem os sponsors nada disto era possível. E muito especialmente à Caixa Agrícola do Algarve, ao GPA e ao meu amigo Michel Fanquel, que teve uma intervenção muito firme sempre junto dos meus concursos, a apoiar-me, e também à Vilamoura World, que é a nossa grande anfitriã, que é a dona deste resort maravilhoso, que é Vilamoura, com todos estes hotéis, casinos e restaurantes de primeira, da máxima categoria. Portanto, a todos, eu quero saudar e agradecer também à Federação Equestre Portuguesa todo o apoio que nos tem dado. E não posso, e tenho que terminar a dar um grande agradecimento à FEI por mais uma vez ter confiado em mim e em toda a minha equipa.
So it's all
a todos,
set, for
muito
our
obrigado
last,
e já sabem, aqui neste canal podem nos seguir por live streaming e nós daremos as melhores imagens e vos daremos em primeira mão os resultados deste Campeonato da Europa, onde, não se esqueçam, as estrelas vão nascer aqui em Vilamoura. Muito obrigado.
Leading this first competition, we have Great Britain with Delhi in a time of 63 seconds. So now it's time for Sweden, the first of these 8.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what an opening day it has been here at the Vilamoura Equestrian Centre for the European
76.
Championships. For the youth categories, the 3 we have, the young riders, the juniors and the children on horses. It's been a really good opening day. And this is the climax of day 1. We have 8 more to come. The position, Jody Hall McAteer leading the way for Great Britain. Kamosa Van Het Kritterhoff is our leader. 63.98 in second. Alexandra Hussen, Belgium, in very good standings. Silver and bronze medal positions occupied by Kaslis van der Helle, Alexandra Hussen and Thibaut Spitz. And Classic Touch. The last 8 to come. Can anybody change that trio? As we welcome for Sweden, Selma Hammerström will get us back into business. Selma brings this lovely horse co-owned by the Midtjäter Hest Sport and the Helse Center. It is Seed on course. 15 years of age, this gelding. He's a Stolzenberg Gluckspitz son. It is number 76. We restart the last session. Selma Hammerström has got a pedigree from eventing. Very good record. She has as well, 7th individually. Team Bronze came in the Pony Europeans at home in Malmö. It's like a Fortuna's back in 2015. Selma has got off to a very good start here. Now show jumping purely. And Seed rattles down to the combination double with just that one early blemish. This horse was bought out by Victoria Ek Goranson Bonde up in Sweden. Just the one rail down. Good start to her week here
7 seconds, 13
on the beautiful Algarve coastline. Selma Hammerström is well through the opening competition. Just the one fence down, 4 seconds to add. And Seed will compete on 77.39, the time and 44th position. 14 seconds or so down on Jody Hall McAteer's leading time. The Brit sits at the head of the pack, Kamosa Van Het Kritterhoff.
80 segundos 10 centésimos para Montana e Antonio. 80 seconds 10 hundredths for the Italian rider. And now it's Sweden number 78 is Ottilie Lundgren and Common Conrad.
Sweden's Ottilie Lundgren will now mount, we hope, a late charge for Sweden. And this is Come On Conrad, the Westphalian, very young gun, 8 years of age only. Comme il faut, cross to Come On. This horse Ottilie owns herself. Can't wait to see how Sweden's Peter Fredriksson, Marlon Bayard Jonsson, Rolf Joran Bengtsson and Henrik von Eckermann fare in Tokyo, fast approaching. Ottilie Lundgren has got herself a distinguished youth career. This her 7th Youth European Championships. Her second young riders having been in Zuidewolde 2 years ago with another horse, Melke Afhered. Shame, just takes the oxer in his wake. Come On Conrad, I'm afraid. Comme il faut, the Corner de Blensky Ratina Z stallion. Quite extraordinary bloodlines coming from those champions. Ratina Z, the double Olympic gold medal winner with Ludger Beerbaum, no less. The stunning mare we enjoyed a couple of decades ago at the very sharpest end of world show jumping. Come On Conrad, just that one mistake. The oxer is the only one for the Swedish pair. Oh no, there was another one. Sorry, I missed that one on the home trip. 8 seconds it is to add for Come On Conrad, and the final time for Ottilie Lundgren is 80.83 seconds.
With 5 left, the first is for Netherlands is Mans Tyson riding Hello.
Well, we said the Tyson family are in great form. Sanne Tyson claiming the Rotterdam 5-star Grand Prix of late. Mel Tyson already through this young rider opening competition. And Father Leon Tyson winning in Falsterbo last weekend on Friday. Mans Tyson, this his championship debut. Young gun for the Netherlands is out on the course. Hello, 9 years of age. Alano crossed again to Nabab de Rev. Team Bronze World Games in Jerez, not far down the coastline from Vilamoura. That was with Philippe Lejeune for Belgium. Team Bronze in the O2 Worlds. Hello, though, I'm afraid. Early mistake for Mans Tyson. It's a very quick, effective turn back to 8. Really spun on a 6 sprints back to the vertical. They warmed up well, this pair in Kronenberg, Pielbergen's Equestrian Centre. That was in early April. That was 7th in the Grand Prix. Mans Tyson running down to the last 3 fences here. Warm afternoon in Vilamoura. Temperature up over the 30-degree threshold. And Mans Tyson jumps a good enough round there. The time,
72 seconds.
72.38. With the 4 seconds to add. 22nd position. But within, about 8 seconds of Jody Hall McAteer's leading time.
Italiana. Per Italia tenemos Martina Giordano in cell un Zifri de Il.
This is the last for Italy coming to Vilamoura's European Championships today, and Martina Giordano getting away. Zephyr de Il is her compact chestnut. Her first Young Rider European Championships. She's got 2 Pony Europeans under her saddle. Arezzo in Italy was her debut, 2013. That was Prospect Peter. And Carlton Wonder in Mill Street's Europeans of 2014, again at pony level. Zephyr de Il is soaring out there. It's a very impressive start for the pair for Italy. No surprises. Kashmir should have soft crossed to Pomfy, the dam sire. I'm interested to see how many horses end up starting the Olympics by Kashmir and Shudasov. I know there's two already. Gazelle, Kent Farrington. They won a 5-star Grand Prix in Grimaud near Saint-Tropez this year already. And Peter Fredriksson, H&M all in. Another Kashmir son heading to Tokyo. It needs no introduction. Zephyr de Ile down to the last combination. This has been a very good performance from Martina Giordano. Team bronze they took in Gorla Minori's Nations Cup at home in Italy in late June. And that is a very good round. Clear round. Okay, a steady one. She'll be languishing a little bit because of the nature of the competition, but it's a good round to watch. Down, I'm afraid, on our leaderboard.
3 left and the time to beat of 60.
We have just 3 more to come, ladies and gentlemen, and the last of the Spanish contingent getting underway. Diego Ramos Maniero gets away. This is the big horses Texas de Trebomp. This afternoon, 14 years of age, Self-Francais, son of Gin Tonic star. Cross to Lutano, Haranaciono Stallion. Texas de Trebomp makes a efficient, clean start for Diego Ramos. Certainly has got a very quick engine, this little bay, as they start to press down to that big oxer out of a tight enough approach at 7. Cutting the turn effectively here. Diego Ramos Maniero now comes down to the, oh shame, rainbow oxer front bar tumbles. Has been influential. It's a big oxer out of the turn, coming near enough the end of the course. So again, just fatigue playing a bit of a factor. Texas de Trebomp. It is just that lone mistake for Diego Ramos Maniero. End of the course, but a solid enough round for the Spaniard. His debut Young Rider Europeans, he was very impressive with this horse in Zuiderwolde. For that Spanish junior gold was brilliant 2 years ago, and individually 4th as well. So he'll have high hopes coming into the Young Riders, his first Young Rider Europeans this week. Well, it's a very determined start. Gilles Muller has got the bit firmly here between his teeth. His debut Young Rider Europeans has started promisingly here. Giovanna CB is on the charge. We're still looking for Jody Hall McAteers, 63.98 this. Oh, it's one down, sadly. It's a very bright start. This was Gilles Muller's ride in the Zuiderwolde Juniors, 30th individually 2 years ago. But he still bravely keeps his foot down, I'm afraid, just running a little bit flat into that last or penultimate combination. 10A, I'm afraid, is a further 4 seconds to add, but it's been a very gutsy round at his debut European Championships for the young riders, that is. And Gilles Muller is going to have to add 8 seconds to his total time. Giovanna CB completing.
Jovens cavaleiros. Temos a Dinamarca, uma zona Filipe, além de Monte Carlo of Green Hill Z. Last Chance to beat 63.98.
So the last, ladies and gentlemen, of the opening day of competition here at the beautiful Vilamoura Equestrian Centre is away. And apologies, the graphic not yet up to date. This is Philippa Wolfgang Linde out on the course for Denmark. Cara of Green Hills Z is the last of the opening day. This mare, she's 11 years of age. Clintissimo Z crossed a Caratino, owned by the Linde family. It's a very precise start from Philippa. Beautifully out over that big oxer at 7. This is another meaty oxer at 9. And again, Giovanna CB reaches for the skies, just stumbling on landing, such as the hang time out over 7. But the Danish pair right things very quickly. This horse has got a wonderful expression again. He knows his job backwards. Her first Young Rider European. She was in both Fontainebleau and Chamorin for the juniors 2018-2017. And Giovanna CB, it's a late rail. That last combination has caused a lot less bother, and the last goes as well, than I anticipated at the start of the day here. And I'm afraid after a very good round, Cara of Green Hills Z has 2 fences down on the home journey, and it is a costly 8 seconds that Philippa Wolfgang Linde adds, and the time 78.4 seconds here in Vilamoura.
Winner of this first competition, Judy Hull.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the conclusion of the Young Rider European Championship opening competition is as follows. The leaderboard: Jodie Hall-McAteer was absolutely sensational. Great Britain are in charge of the opening competition. 63.98 is the time to beat. It is 2 1/3 seconds clear of the field. Alexander Hussen has Belgium on the podium in second, with Kaslas van der Help and Thibaut Spitz as well. Very impressive again for Belgium. His first Young Rider Europeans has been a success on day 1. That is Classic Touch DH, 3rd place, 66.25. Then comes the young German gun, Matthias Westendorp. He was brilliant again. That is Toledo, just out of the top 3, the podium, 66.87. And then the surprise package, he was sensational. Tamás Domza is sitting in 5th position for Hungary with Conquistador. Then comes Francesco Corredo, Lily Atwood, Hannah Salmon, Jason Foley. And Great Britain's Jack Whittaker has got 3 in the top 10 for Great Britain coming into the week here in Vilamoura. So from myself, Ed Holloway, a real pleasure bringing you this sensational opening day. We've had such a brilliant mix of nations, such great competition, and the week is truly set up on a knife edge for the juniors and young riders we have enjoyed seeing today. We're back live with you. 2 o'clock is the kickoff time tomorrow afternoon. Do be aware that this is on the 1 hour ahead behind Central European time. So just be aware that will be 3 o'clock if you are in Europe, and 2 o'clock will be the time if you're watching from Great Britain. A very good night to you. Thank you for watching. We will see you tomorrow.